Hey guys, we are back again and we are again switching gears. This time we're not going to do a three-act myth. We're not going to do an interpretation of a movie. We're going to just hang out in a little parable. We're going to hang out in a quick little story that happens to come from Buddhism this time around. And we're just going to hang out and talk about what exists within this story. I am going to put a quick little disclaimer out here that this isn't intended to put anything above or below anything else. It doesn't even speak to the competition of ideologies. I just know that there's going to be some trigger words in here or some ideas that might push some people into thinking that that's what the story is for, and that's just not my intention, and that's not the intention of the story. So without hanging on to that a little bit too long, we're going to jump right into this town. So this town exists, as most towns do, with people that are happy, people that are unhappy, people just living their lives and just going about their day-to-days. And one day, a spiritual teacher walks into this town and sees the way that these people are living and just is emotionally shook up, goes into the middle of town and stands up and says, "Do you not understand that you're all going to hell? Do you not understand that you're all living sinful lives? You're all living poor lives, distracted lives. You're living very primally, and I need to let you know that there is a way to save you from all of this. There is a way to save you from all of this, and I will graciously bestow upon you all of my wisdom and my knowledge to save you from your ways." And this town hears this, and they're so grateful to have someone who came into their town and showed them right from wrong and showed them how to be saved, because they just want to live good, godly lives. You know, they don't want to be damned forever. They don't want any of that. And like, what a beautiful gift fate has given them. And so he teaches them and they integrate it, thankfully. And he leaves, goes on his mission, continues on his way. And they live their lives in this new way, in this new understanding. And it goes pretty good for them. Until about a month later, when another spiritual leader comes into their town and he sees the way they're living, and he goes into the middle of streets all shooken up and says, "You bunch of heathens, do you not see that you're living a false life? Do you not see that you're living poorly and that you're going to be going to hell and you're going to be damned for eternity because of how you're living?" And again, this town is just like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for coming in here. We trusted what that man said. We trusted what he had to offer, and thank you so much for showing us the error of our ways and for really saving us again." And so they integrate his teachings, and he leaves, and the town lives pretty happily until it happens again and again and again. And this town and these people are just getting emotionally and spiritually whiplashed and just thrown all around because they lost track of reality. They just want to do right by God, and now they are confused. They don't know what is right and what is wrong. And so one day the Buddha comes into town, and he sees this town and he sees the way that they're living, and he just keeps walking. He's just passing through. And the town sees him and rushes him and says, "Buddha, we've had so many different visitors. We've had so many different teachings, and we just need to know the truth. We just need to know the truth. Will you please just tell us the truth? What's going on?" And the Buddha says, "I can't tell you your truth. I can't tell you your relationship with God. I can't tell you who you are." He goes, I can only point you in ways that maybe you can understand a little bit better. Maybe you can have an experience that tells you what is right for you and what is not right for you. Buddhism has a very heavy emphasis on being able to show up for your moments, being able to be present for your experiences, being able to be honest with what you're feeling and what your experience is. It's a very experiential religion and a very experiential philosophy. It shows you, it points you more so into ways to help you be honest. Are you actually feeling God here, or are you not? Are you able to be vulnerable in whatever that truth is? Are you able to be honest? Are you able to have integrity in your truth and in your experience? Because our heart and our soul know God. We naturally understand truth with a capital T if we're quiet enough to listen to it. because our mind is very loud, and our culture is very loud, and our families can be very loud and telling you what you should and should not do. And your mind soaks it up. It loves it. It loves regulations. It loves duality. It loves right and wrong and good and bad. But your heart is just here. It's here, and it is just looking to find that sweet spot where it can beat loudly in your life, unapologetically in your life. And it knows that God isn't in heaven, and God isn't down the road. God is right here, right now, and it has the ability to be in rhythm and in sync with it. Because God is here to talk to you in the way that you're meant to be talked to. You were created by God. He knew your name. He knows you. And he knows that if we're all different frequencies on a radio station, if we're all playing different music and have different styles, he knows how to tune into you. He knows how to speak to you, and your heart and your soul instinctively know how to tune into him. And I think Buddha in this context, in this story, is trying to illustrate that nobody can tell you how to relate to God. I can't even tell you how to relate to God. Buddha says, if my eightfold path works for you, good, run with it. Heck, if their teachings, these other spiritual teachers, work with you, run, go, follow it. But if it doesn't, if their teachings don't resonate, if my teachings don't resonate, drop them. Drop them, because you and we as a collective are not benefiting from a pseudo-spiritual experience. You're meant to be here in your glory. Don't hide behind a mask to try and appease God. God's speaking right to you. God is speaking right to you if you can allow yourself to be honest with what you're hearing, to be honest with God's coaching, if you're moving that way or if you're moving that way, and to be honest and show up for your experiences, show up for your life. Don't hide and get lost in the intellectual pursuit of rights and wrongs, and don't play those games. Don't play those games. Play the simplest game, which is, are you feeling God here or are you not? And find your way to better enrich and grow those fruits. And only you and God know that way that's right for you. Only you and God know the way that is right for you. Only you and God know the way that is right for you. And let yourself be vulnerable in that. Know it. Be confident in that too. Know that there's signposts and there's truth. There is truth in a lot of teaching. There's very ultimate truth in a lot of teaching, and there's even a lot of hints and tricks and trades and just wisdom in a lot of teachings. But your being knows the truth, and God knows the truth, and you are bound to each other if you're honest with your experience. If you're honest with your experience, God is in it. And he will say yes, or he will say probably not. But don't get lost in the pursuit of right and wrong. Don't do it. You're wasting your time. Because what feels right. What feels right, what experience is right for you. Not what idea, not what teaching. You know God. You do. You know freedom. You do. And so I'm going to leave this teaching there. I'm going to leave it at that point where the Buddha says, if it works, go. If it doesn't, don't. And he's humble enough to say that about his own teachings as well. And so just I wish you the best of luck in that adventure and in that vulnerability and in that experience of finding your truth and being honest and bold with it. All right, guys. Love you very much. I'll see you later.